Hi, I'm Zaira Maclan. I'm completing the Master of Science in Learning Design and Technology program, and this capstone represents how my thinking as an instructional designer has evolved. I used to think good instructional design was mostly about creating clear and engaging learning materials. Now I see it differently. Good design starts with understanding the learner, the work they need to do, and the challenges that may get in their way. For my capstone, I applied that approach to a real performance need by designing a learning experience for deputy coordinators in the Association for Talent Development San Diego Mentorship program. In this presentation, I'll show you not just what I created, but the thinking behind the design. This project began with a new role in the Association for Talent Development San Diego Mentorship program. The deputy coordinator position had recently been established, but there was no formal onboarding process in place. As someone serving in the role, I saw firsthand how much coordination happens behind the scenes and how many expectations a new volunteer would need to understand. Deputy coordinators need to navigate responsibilities, communication procedures, tools, and event support tasks, while also balancing the fact that they are busy professionals volunteering their time. That created a clear performance gap and became the foundation for my capstone project. The challenge was not simply to create training, because training did not exist. I first had to consider what a new deputy coordinator actually needed in order to perform the role. These are volunteers with limited time, so the solution could not be a long course filled with information. It needed to help learners quickly understand their responsibilities, recognize the tools and resources available to them, and practice the kinds of decisions they may encounter in the role. That led me to focus the design on clarity, relevance, and practical application. Once I understood the performance gap, I used 4 priorities to guide the design. First, I focused on the learner and the reality of volunteering in a new role. Second, I organized the experience around the work deputy coordinators actually need to perform rather than around large amounts of information. Third, I incorporated opportunities to make realistic decisions and practice applying the role. And finally, I designed performance support that learners could return to after the course when they actually needed help. Those priorities became the foundation for the course structure. I organized the course around a simple progression. First is understanding the role, and then practice doing the work. Module 1 focuses on responsibilities, expectations, tools, and resources, while Module 2 moves learners into application through scenarios, decision-making, performance support, and readiness assessment. One of my first design decisions was to humanize the role. Rather than presenting deputy coordinator responsibilities as a long list of duties, I introduced Jordan, a new deputy coordinator, to place those responsibilities within a realistic context. The goal was to make the role feel more concrete and relatable while helping learners connect responsibilities to situations they may actually encounter. The second design decision was to move learners from knowing the role to making decisions within it. I did not want the course to stop at information or recall. The event support scenario and decision challenge give learners a chance to work through situations that reflect the kinds of choices they may face as deputy coordinators. This creates a low-risk environment where they can practice judgment, apply expectations, and build confidence before supporting a real mentorship event. Another important design decision was to support performance beyond the course itself. I learned that not every performance need requires another lesson. Some information needs to be learned, while others information simply needs to be easy to access at the moment of need. That is why I included tools, resources, and performance support that deputy coordinators can return to while actually performing the role. The goal was to make the course useful, not only during onboarding, but also after the learning experience ends. Practice was only part of the design. I also needed a way to determine whether learners were actually ready to step into the role. The final reflection and readiness assessment ask learners to look across what they learned, evaluate their understanding, and identify areas where they may still need support. This gave the course a stronger ending than simply marking it complete. The biggest change in my practice is not one specific tool, it is the questions I now ask before I design. I think more carefully about who the learner is, what they actually need to do, what may prevent them from doing it, and what kind of learning or support would help them perform with greater confidence. This project helped me define my design philosophy. I want the learning experiences I create to be clear, practical, and human centered. Clear enough that learners know what to do, practical enough that learners connect to real performance, and human centered enough that the design respects the learner's time, context, and needs. So, yeah, this capstone represents how I now approach instructional design, and that is to understand the work first, design with intention, and of course, keep the learner's reality at the center. The Master of Science in the Learning Design and Technology program helped me develop new tools, new skills, and a clearer sense of who I am becoming as a designer. So, thank you for taking the time to view my work.